You should also not be tolerating abuse from nurses because you're working so much. They never checked my orders. Think of the whiplash that causes. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Lily, former registered nurse, now a first-year resident. I'm actually just finishing my intern year. I'm starting radiology training in July. Last week, I finished my very last inpatient wards rotation, and I wanted to use this video to discuss my reflections of the past year, but also give you tips for any of you who are starting your intern year, as well as discuss confessions of my intern year, discuss real stuff that nobody really talks about, some tips and real honest feedback on how to survive intern year, which has honestly felt like the longest and hardest year of my medical training so far. So if you're about to start intern year, or if you are curious about what intern year entails, this video is for you. Let's get right into it. So the number one thing was that I did not realize how much team dynamics really play into your experience of intern year. Internal medicine ended up actually being one of my very least favorite rotations of intern year, and my level of happiness was definitely influenced by my team dynamics, especially my seniors. I've worked with incredibly smart and efficient seniors this past year who were really naturals at being great leaders. They set expectations for us interns, they had our backs, and were incredibly reliable. But I've also worked with seniors who were nowhere to be found when I needed them. They never checked my orders. They didn't step up to help when my co-intern was off, so they didn't cover my co-intern's patients, meaning that I had to absorb all of those patients while also following up on my own patients, leaving me feeling really overwhelmed on those days. And honestly, it's not something that we're really prepared for prior to residency. No one gives you a handbook on how to deal with those situations. I don't have like a perfect solution to dealing with this. And what I end up doing is just trying to focus on providing the best patient care that I possibly could. Sometimes in those situations when seniors couldn't answer any of my questions, I just went straight to the attending, especially when my senior was unreliable. Sometimes there are seniors who are really present. They're in the room with you, they're chart checking with you, and then there's some seniors who are nowhere to be found, and they spend most of their day outside of the team room. As interns, you may have a lot of questions, and honestly, if your senior is not around to support you, then you need to go to your attending. I've never come across a senior that was like straight up mean, and I honestly think that that's extremely rare to come across. If that is something that happens to you in intern year, I think that it says more about the person being mean than anything about you and what you're doing. So try not to take those incidents personally. Speaking of working with others, as a former registered nurse, just know that as an intern, nurses are your best friend. You'll work with nurses every day in the wards and in the ICU. Keep them close and keep them very involved in your patient care. When you go around on your patients, I want you to go find the nurse for the patient and ask them what the overnight events were. Don't just depend on your pre-charting and sitting in your team room, not talking to anyone and just looking at the computer. Go and find the nurse and discuss your plan for the day with the nurse. I always try to make it a point to go find the nurses for my patients, ask them what their name is, give them your phone number, and build a relationship with the nurse. You'll be rotating on inpatient wards for weeks on end. You'll see the same nurses over and over again, and it's so great to have a working relationship with them. They are your eyes and ears. They are the ones who will inform you of changes in your patient. Get to know them, and they will take care of you. I rarely ran into bad nurses, but everyone is different. Every once in a while, you're going to run into a bad apple. Know that nurses are super stressed and basically pushed to the brink of their capacity. Speak to them kindly and don't ever bark orders at them. With that said, I also want to emphasize that as residents, you should also not be tolerating abuse from nurses. I've had nurses call me and demand orders over the phone, like actually yelling at me. I've had nurses hang up on me in the middle of me speaking to them. It's not worth your energy to argue with the nurses. Just say, hey, thanks for that information. I'll look into it. You don't have to order everything that a nurse tells you to order. It's your job to make the best clinical decision that you can for your patients. Build a healthy working relationship with the nurses. Just know that you don't have to do everything that they tell you to do. Nurses are at the bedside, they're worried about patients, but you are the one with the medical training to take the information that they're giving you and synthesize it in a way that will provide the best clinical decision for the patient. The moral of that is just take care of your nurses, keep them close, but also you don't need to take abuse from them. Point number 3 is that you will be exhausted. This year is going to be hard. I'm at a chill TY, and it was still a very difficult year for me. You're going to work so much. Some days I woke up, I went to work, I worked the entire day, 12 to 14 to 16 hours. I got home, I took a shower, I went to sleep, woke up the next day, and went back to work. I fully believe that movement in your body is so central to wellness. But then working out just becomes like another task on your long to-do list of things that are all just piling up because you're working so much. First of all, give yourself grace if you're not able to get a workout in. I have to remind myself of that all the time because I'm a person who wants to work out 5 to 6 days a week. And when I was on inpatient wards working 6 days a week, up to 70 hours, 75 hours per week, sometimes I couldn't get a workout in some days, and I was so hard on myself. Don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself grace. You're working a ton. But second of all, try to prioritize it. When I was on long call, meaning that I had to be at work the entire day, I did my best not to just sit at the computer, and I would use the actual standing desk. I was the only person in the team room that would ever even use the standing desk. My mom is calling. Hello? Okay, I don't remember what I was talking about. But basically, when I was on long call, I didn't want to give up my sleep, wake up a little bit earlier, and go out and do a workout. So I would just prioritize moving my body while I was on my shift. So I would use a standing desk. Like I said, I was the only person in my team room who would actually even use the standing desk. And I would get up and try to move as much as possible and walk all around the hospital to get steps in while I was waiting for admissions. My last long call shift prior to finishing all of my inpatient wards rotation, I was able to get in 20,000 steps. So I didn't just sit in the team room waiting for the next admissions. Lots of people just want to sit and wait, scroll on their phones. I went on walks. I'm a person whose mind would really suffer if I didn't move my body. So I really tried to find ways to incorporate movement in my day, especially when I was working a very long shift. The other thing nobody tells you is that literally every single week feels like another reset. You're switching new attendings every week. Sometimes you're switching entirely new teams every 2 weeks. Think of the whiplash that causes. I honestly feel like this actually adds to our burnout. Every week you have a new expectation of yourself. Different attendings have different expectations on how you present your patients, how they want their notes written, how they want to round, and every week you had to adapt to those new expectations. I had no idea how much this would add to my burnout. As soon as you get used to one attending, you have to prepare yourself, have this bit of anxiety preparing for the next attending coming in. One week you'll work with a chill attending who has really relaxed casual rounds, and then the next week you'll work with a very formal attending who wants a very organized soap style presentation with all of your hashtags organized with exact plans that match every single diagnosis. And that whiplash of trying to adapt to these new expectations every single week was so exhausting. I don't have great advice on how to deal with this, but just know that after the first couple of days when you're working with a new attending, you'll get into your flow of things and you'll adjust. I think I was really hard on myself when I wasn't in my flow. So those first couple of days working with a new attending was really difficult for me until I got into the flow and got used to their new expectations. You will find your flow and it will all work out. Don't be too hard on yourself. Kind of the theme of this video. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's a perfect year to be super hard on yourself. The next point I want to make is actually an entire video that I have already on my YouTube channel about how important your writing skills are. People think your writing skills are really great just to write essays to get into med school, but writing skills follow you throughout med school, residency, and as a future attending. Writing well is so crucial. It's your job now to synthesize your entire history and physical that you extract from patients when you do their admissions and be able to put it in writing in their history and physical that you put into their chart. Being able to do that efficiently in intern year is imperative to getting you out of work on time. I've seen interns stay hours and hours past the time that I've already left work, working on their discharge summaries, history and physicals, and all of their notes. I think part of the reason why is that most people are not great at writing. They're not great at getting their thoughts into words and typing it up in an efficient manner. Just know that when you are admitting a patient, you don't need to write a novel. Get to the point, give the key information, and being able to clearly state the patient's story is a super valuable skill to have. Work on your writing skills, seriously. Let's talk about pre-charting. Pre-charting is the thing that you do when you sit at the when you get to work, you sit at the computer and look up the new lab values overnight, check out the vitals of the patient, any overnight events that are charted in the patient's chart. Pre-charting should not take you very long. For follow-up patients, honestly, just skim what the vitals were overnight events, new labs, and any cross-cover notes that were written. Then the rest of the information you should be getting from the nurse in person, face-to-face, and from the patient when you go see them. Otherwise, stop spending so much time at the computer pre-charting. Go lay eyes on your patients, see your patients. That's where you're going to get most of your information. I see interns spend hours pre-charting. They'll come to work like an hour early pre-charting. That's insane to me. That's so wild. That's so inefficient. For new admissions, the quicker you can go lay eyes on the patient, the better idea of what the clinical picture is. I will see interns sit at the computer for so long prior to going to see their new admissions. All you need for a new admission is writing down their lab values, any imaging that was done. Their vitals are something that you can go see when you go see the patients. But one of the things that nobody told me about was that you should skim their last discharge summary. That information will paint such a great picture for you for those patients. The information from the discharge summary will give you so much information on what new med changes were done for this patient, if they're frequently in the hospital, what active medical problems they have. Skim that last discharge summary and it will give you so much information going into this new admission that they're having at this time. But I want you to do all of that quickly and then prioritize going to see the patient. I think intern year will challenge you in ways that you never predicted. It's emotionally, mentally, and physically taxing, but what I've learned is that you'll get through it. Just know you don't have to be perfect and you will get better throughout the year. I do think because I was a registered nurse prior to becoming a resident physician, my clinical experience has helped me a lot. It's also helped me communicate with nurses. It's also helped me have certain expectations and know the things that nurses want from physicians. I do think that my nursing background has been extremely valuable, and if you're a nurse who wants to go to medical school and become a physician, your background experience is going to serve you so well in residency. I hope this video gives you a little bit of insight of intern year. I am currently in my last rotation of intern year. It's a quality improvement elective, meaning that I basically just go to meetings all day learning about how the hospital system tries to improve the quality of their patient care. It's a pretty chill rotation. I move in 2 weeks and we're spending some of this time packing. Thank you for watching this video. If you are a registered nurse who wants to apply to medical school, know that I have a step-by-step guide that I wrote. Over 300 nurses have already purchased this guide. I poured my heart into writing it. It answers all of the questions that I wish I had when I was a nurse applying to medical school. I hope that you will find it helpful. It can be found in the video description of all of my videos. And if you have any further questions, please leave it in the comments and I will try to answer them. Thank you for watching.